How have you been?
Well, that was a hard in.
Yeah, I just thought we'll start with, questioning your deathly pallor once again.
I was waiting for the music to finish.
All right, well, people say sometimes it takes us a while to get into our stride, so I thought, what if we start maybe a whole beat earlier?
A whole beat?
A whole beat. That's what they say in the biz, isn't it?
What biz?
Music, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know nothing about the music biz.
No, but I like to pretend I do. For my job.
Yes, if only they knew.
Well, anyone who saw us on Pointless does now know. So this is Just Not Cricket, a football podcast. My name is Hal Stewart, and opposite my face is Adam Scott, who still has yet to tell us how he is.
Yeah.
Okay, we are, as ever, going to dive straight in to what a lot of people say is their favourite bit, maybe because we also do it at the end.
The mysterious player of mystery.
This is where I will share, as it is my turn to test Adam today, the clubs of a well-known either former or current football player. So far we've only done male football players. That's not to say we won't do Mia Hamm at some point in the future. The way it works is if Adam gets it at the end of the podcast without asking any questions, he gets 3 points. If he needs the player's position and then gets it right, he gets 1. So, the clubs.
And just to set myself up for a fall, I believe I've got the last 2 without any follow-up questions. So this could be my third 3-pointer in a row.
The hat-trick of 3 points.
Probably not.
It's very hard to win 3 in a row. Chelsea, Blackburn Rovers.
Blackburn Rovers.
Chelsea, Southampton, Wembley.
The stadium?
The club that you may remember.
I'm writing these down. I'm taking it that seriously.
TV show. So that's an interesting one. That may be a wild card at the end. If you've got any ideas, stay tuned. You'll find out if you are correct with our mysterious player of mystery.
Can I just say, I think I know it.
Already?
I think I know
All right,
it.
and this is what I did with you once before with Christian Vieri. I just said to you, tell me then the player's position.
I will tell you that the player I'm thinking of, I may be totally wrong.
And look at my face when you tell me.
Okay.
I'm going to give nothing away.
Is a left back. God, that poker face is unsettling.
Woo!
Are you having a stroke?
I couldn't keep my face still.
I don't think there's a first aider in the building.
Adam Scott, as I look at your face,
Yeah.
your wonderful, wonderful, symmetrical
You
face.
lucky duck.
I know. I have another guest that I've lined up for us.
Another guess. Where are you finding these people?
Well, full disclosure, I've known this guy since I was about 11, probably older.
So what you're saying is he's lived a hard life.
He used to be my next door neighbour. He's fake Welsh, which means, of course, that he supports Leeds United. Jon Tecwyn, welcome to Just Not Cricket. How's it going, my friend?
Very well, very well. Thanks very much for having me, guys.
Do you call your team Dirty Leeds or Leeds?
Super Leeds.
Not one of the options.
I was born in Leeds. Good reason to support Leeds. Heavily influenced by everyone at school supporting Leeds as well.
Your school actually had a few players.
Yeah, indeed. A little-known player called James Milner.
James Milner?
James
Did that name
Milner.
ring any
was
bells?
that Milner? Was that Milner?
Double L?
Not
Yeah.
Miller? No.
Miller. Might have been Miller. You're
Could have
thinking of
been
James Miller.
James Miller. He
Yeah.
was good.
I think he played for Southampton, didn't he?
he was in the school year above me, actually. Very studious type. No. he came in a couple of times a week, did some sports study stuff, and then went and played football on the AstroTurf.
Probably amounted to nothing.
Are you saying then, on Just Not Cricket, this podcast, the opinions of Jon Tecwyn, that James Milner, academically, moron?
Ooh, harsh.
Cretin?
That's nice. Sir.
Imbecile.
His spoof Twitter account is excellent and does make him seem very moronic. The boring James Milner account. Get on that.
But he wasn't the only one, was he?
No, there was Charlie Taylor at Tad Grammar School.
That's the school we're talking about. Yeah, it's where we grew up, Tadcaster. So that's Charlie Taylor of Burnley.
Charlie Taylor of Burnley.
And Matthew Kilgallen.
Is that the one you were looking for?
Yeah, that's the one I was hoping you'd start with, because that's for me the most impressive, because he's the only one that played for Sheffield United.
Yeah, Matty Kay, yeah, talented centre back. He was at Tad as well.
I don't think there's anyone else. I think that's the list, but that's actually in the similar kind of age as well. That's a really impressive collection.
Yeah, not too bad.
And John himself, Adam, was a mighty good footballer.
Was he?
Very good. Yeah.
What position?
Centre mid.
If I was to relate John to a professional that played in the same position...
Footballer?
Yeah, I was actually going to go with a footballer. It would probably be, and I think, John, you'll agree with me when I say this, Alex and Yarko.
Wow. No, that's a name I've not heard for a while.
I could see fans offering you their shirt off their own back in disgust at an awake. No, he was very good.
Why have you got Alex Nyarko in your sights? You put something on Facebook about him the other day as well.
Yeah, it's because
what has he done to hurt
We're
you?
going to do a little bit later on today, players booed by their own fans. He was in the forefront of my mind as someone that Everton fans absolutely detested. But I'm only joking. John was very good in midfield and could have probably, if he'd actually had an appetite for being a professional, you could have had a go.
If I was to relate Hal to a footballer, probably go...
Don't need to do that.
Jason Wilcox.
Because I'm ugly.
Ugly and average and left-footed.
Nick Chadwick.
Those things are true. I think you're thinking of Luke Chadwick.
Who did I say?
Nick Chadwick.
Oh, he was also a footballer.
Yeah, I can't remember his
was thinking
face.
of Nick Chadwick.
How ugly is Nick
How dare you? How dare you question me in front of a guest?
Well, I was a winger, so...
I never liked you.
Right, Nick Chadwick, the striker. John, we're going to start off with your favourite Leeds 11, and it's players that you've seen with your own eyes.
So just to clarify, this is not necessarily the best 11, but it's a bit of a kind of cult following 11 players I've really liked. Going for a 4-4-2, Nigel Martin in goal, Britain's first ever £1 million keeper.
Am I right in thinking that your mum met Nigel Martin or his wife?
Yeah, I think that's right. Like Martin's really into his cricket, so I think he used to come and watch the cricket team that I played for or against.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he could have been a wicket keeper as well. He's very good cricketer. Right back, Ian Hart's uncle, Gary Kelly.
You were about to say Ian Hart, and my heart actually stopped.
No, Ian Hart doesn't make the cut. He may have done if you'd asked me this question like 2 years ago, but he's gone a bit weird in recent years and a bit kind of bigoted and
really?
moaning about Leeds having like too many Spanish voices on the pitch in their under-23s team and all this kind of stuff.
Didn't he play in Spain?
He did play in Spain.
I know. That's the bizarre irony of this.
I always thought Ian Hart was the most overrated left-back in Premier League history. I thought he was absolute dross.
But he could take a free kick.
He could. He was good at set pieces.
He certainly could.
But so was Matthew Taylor.
Yes.
And I also thought he was terrible as well.
Well, they speak very highly of you.
Anyway, this isn't about us.
Centre-backs, this is the easiest bit for me. Lucas Radebe. He was shot in his homeland, South Africa, came back from that. The rumour has it he only signed for Leeds. Well, he signed with Phil Masinga, and he only came with Masinga to keep Masinga happy and stop him from being homesick. Radebe became this absolute cult legend.
He really was, so much so, of course, that he inspired the band the Kaiser Chiefs.
Good fun fact. Going to partner Radebe with current legend Pontus Jansson. He just kind of gets it. He gets what it is to be Leeds.
He's just an absolute... He's not a class act. He seems like a mean individual. He reminds me of Jonas Olsson as well. He's really just nasty.
He wears gloves. He's got short sleeves and gloves.
I used to play like that.
Gloves. You're not a thug like Pontus. Not a thug.
Definitely not a thug.
To complete my back four, I'm going to go Andy Hughes, who he joined Leeds the same day that we were docked 15 points in League One. Not the most gifted, converted from centre mid to left back, played in the famous January 3rd victory at Old Trafford. Absolute legend.
That victory at Old Trafford, that was the greatest odds victory in the FA Cup in the last 10 years. So the bookies obviously just thought Man United were going to wipe the floor. It was the greatest upset until Barnet beat Sheffield United in the FA Cup third round at Bramall Lane.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
You've got a haunted look in your eye.
Well, I have to say, I should get John on this more, because I tell this sort of stuff to you, Adam, and you never say, that's amazing, wow.
Well, I'm not easily impressed.
No, you're really not. It's very difficult. He crushes my soul, particularly when I try and be funny.
Is it good that Sheffield United only have the league to focus on?
That's what you always say when you get knocked out of the cup.
Absolutely.
But I love a cup run. There's nothing I enjoy more than the draw. I really get excited. There's only a few balls left and you haven't been drawn out. And you've got Paul Ince rummaging through those balls.
You can dodge a bullet in a draw. Leeds got knocked out as well, third round, but they would have got Pompey away. You just don't want that game, do you? So.
I don't know, that could have been a fun away trip for you.
Tell you who didn't get knocked out.
Is it West Ham?
Yeah.
There we go. Fine.
Fourth round tie, AFC Wimbledon.
Adam, can you please stop interrupting Jon Tecwyn?
That's the solid back four. Midfield, going to go for Ross Snodgrass on the right-hand side. Again, plucked from nowhere in Scotland. Great, skillful player.
Can I say to all Livingston fans, John's opinion, not the opinions of Just Not Cricket. We consider Livingston very much a place.
And a good West Ham one for you there, Adam, as well.
Very underrated player by David Moyes. Didn't fancy him at all. But Manuel Pellegrini, I think I'm right in saying he's featured in every match under Manuel Pellegrini.
Is there a more kind of British name than Robert Snodgrass? You know, in this cosmopolitan Premier League that we currently witness, you feel like if his name was Roberto Sanchez, even if he had exactly the same amount of ability, Moyes would probably have picked him.
Yeah, probably.
Did you hear the recent thing about Snodgrass blaming putting on loads of weight for driving from London to Birmingham?
I did, because he had to stop
at the service station.
Well, there's only Ginsters, isn't there? What can you do?
Indeed. On the other wing, current player Sergio Garcia's brother-in-law, Pablo Hernandez. Absolute hero. And then in the middle, I'm going to go for sort of glory, O'Leary years, inspired midfield of Olivier Dacour and David Batty.
Yes! Now, what can you tell me about David Batty?
Batty hated football, famously, didn't he?
He did.
He was a bit of a, who was it, the Spurs guy, Asu Akoto. You could come up with an 11, actually. Maybe that's a future podcast challenge for you guys. I remember a story about Batty on the bottom of the drive to our houses, Hal. Batty was once at the end of the drive just blocking it. My dad couldn't get in. He was sitting there watching motorbikes go past because he's just obsessed with motorbikes.
He loved motorbikes.
Yeah. Is that the Batty anecdote you thought I'd say?
No. Do you remember when your dad convinced me to be a referee?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember I was refereeing David Batty's two boys?
Oh, yes.
And the coach just he was the only players that he very loudly let every single parent around know were David Batty's kids. He just would say their full names every time they got the ball.
With David Batty's kids as dirty and the tackle as their father.
I think it'd be unfair, wouldn't it, to say yes when we're talking about 6-year-olds. I'll just say they knew how to play the game inspired by their father.
Indeed. Should we move to the front line?
Do it.
This was tough. There's lots of strong options. The first name that I put on the team sheet was Luciano Hector Becchio, Argentinian legend. And then I'm going to partner him with his partner of a year or two, Jermaine Beckford, who, of course, scored that goal against the Scumbags over at Old Trafford.
I thought you'd go with Beckford, but I have to say, I imagined your partner would be Mark Viduka.
That is the toss-up that I was making. I also like Michael Bridges a lot. I think he was a bit of a British Bergkamp, and if he hadn't have had the horrendous injuries he did, he could have done really good things.
Hasselbank?
No, he left under a cloud.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy Floyd Piggybank. He sold it out basically.
I went on a tour of Ellen Road and went into the dressing room. It was just after Leeds had been beaten by Wolves. I think it was a cup game, and there was a hole in the ceiling, and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank had punched a hole in the ceiling. Such was his fury
and height
and that defeat. Yeah, he must have, I don't know, maybe he orchestrated it, grabbed a chair,
okay,
asked his friend to hold the, anyway, just jumped up and smashed it. But yeah, that was still there. What I found interesting was that was probably about 3 weeks ago and they still hadn't repaired it. You know, a sign of the Ridsdale times to come. Priorities were in other places.
Yeah, indeed. The only dressing room I've been to on a tour was to the Nou Camp. I actually went for a dump in the Nou Camp home dressing room.
This is a family show.
To do it. Hopped over the ropes to do it. So yeah, I've been on a famous toilet.
You've sat on the same throne as Rivaldo.
I'm glad you confirmed there was a toilet there, because you just said the dressing room.
Just said he went over the ropes.
The dressing room toilet, Adam.
Yeah, I mean, he thought what Hasselbank did in the dressing room was bad, but this dirty protest from this Welshman.
Pretty rogue, yeah.
Outrageous.
Never liked Barcelona.
Let's get this clear as well. I mentioned you're fake Welsh because you sort of support the Welsh national team, but you also sort of support the English national team. Can you just clear that up?
Welsh national rugby team, English national football team. I'm half Welsh. Support one of each. Pretty simple. Well trodden path for the half Welshman. Yeah.
John's going to stick around. We're going to have some more nonsense, and then when we come back with John, he's got some questions for us.
Whoa.
Wikipedia Club.
Glad you brought your notes.
Sorry, I scrawled my the clubs of that mysterious player on the back of my notes.
And now you need to rearrange them.
Now I just need to loudly rearrange them.
Okay, you're like Stanley Kubrick.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's very kind. Wikipedia Club.
Because you look dead.
Could you just not have left it as the nice thing? Why'd you have to be like that? Last podcast, you may remember we went to
Greece.
Olympiakos. For Olympiakos, the biggest and currently best club.
Olympiakos.
Greece.
Piraeus. Still not convinced.
Piraeus, the port district of the city of Athens. And we are moving slightly to the east, still reigning in Europe, just about, to another big club, Maccabi Tel Aviv FC. Founded in 1906 as the Harishon Lezion Yafo Association. Probably should have put a pronunciation warning before that.
Yeah, I think they should have kept that name.
It rolls right off the tongue. The club changed their name to Maccabi Tel Aviv in 1909 following the establishment of the city of Tel Aviv. They actually predate the city of Tel Aviv.
Wow, so only 3 years they had that other name.
Yes. And they take their name from the Maccabees, who are a group of Jewish warriors who drove the Seleucid Empire out of Judea in 167 BC. In their trademark yellow shirts and blue stripes, which I find is a bit garish, but, that's just my personal taste.
So you don't like blue and yellow as a colour combination?
It's not my favourite.
I was watching the Boca Confidential documentary, which once again I will highly recommend to anyone who likes a football documentary. And I was just thinking, I need to get me a Boca shirt. It is lovely.
Maybe it's the stripes that
Might be
make
the
this one off-putting.
I like
the Boca
stripes.
one isn't too bad.
Maybe that's because you don't support a team that wears stripes.
I don't. Maybe I'm just not used to it. Maybe I'm anti-stripe.
I think you could be. And
Stripist.
Yeah, we should have a stripe off.
You know when you learn something about yourself and you don't like it?
Yeah, it's eerie, isn't it?
It is. It's got a very cold feeling in my stomach. In their trademark wonderful yellow shirts and blue stripes,
That's better.
Maccabi are the oldest, largest and most successful club in all of Israel. They've won 21 Israeli titles, 5 Israeli Super Cups, 23 State Cups, 6 Toto Cups, not to be confused with the Intertoto Cup, and 2 Asian Champion Club tournaments. There was a spell, of course, I think sometime in the 70s, where Israel were part of the Asian Confederation, now obviously part of UEFA. 7 times they've won a league and cup double, and twice they have enjoyed unbeaten seasons. In Europe, they have reached the group stage of the Champions League in 2015-16. Unfortunately, they lost all 6 of their matches in a group which included Chelsea, Porto and Dynamo Kiev.
Tough group.
They've gone one better in the Europa League, advancing to the last 32 in 2013-14, where they lost to FC Basel, or Basel, depending on what part of Switzerland you come from.
Or if you're American, Basel.
Their main rivals are
Maccabi Haifa.
Hapoel Tel Aviv.
Oh, yeah.
And games between the two are referred to as the Big Tel Aviv Derby. There is also a small Tel Aviv derby between Maccabi and Beni Yehuda.
Sounds like a Star Wars character.
Home matches are played at the Bloomfield Stadium in Tel Aviv. Capacity of, we'll have a guess,
12,000.
14,413, and they play their European games at the Sami Ofer Stadium in Haifa, which is also the home of the Israeli national team. Would you like to have a guess at that capacity?
36.
It's 30,780. They're currently coached by the Serb Vladimir Ivic, but you may recognise some of the names on their list of former coaches. Jordi Cruyff, former Manchester United player. Slavica Jokanovic, who has had a couple of spells in English football, most recently with Fulham at time of speaking. Paco Aystaran, I'm sure that's not how you pronounce his surname.
Former Liverpool assistant.
Rafa's former assistant at Liverpool. Oscar Garcia, formerly of Brighton, and a very short spell at Watford.
It's the Watford way.
Paulo Sousa.
I actually interviewed Paulo Sousa following Sheffield United Swansea.
Was he a good interviewee?
I wouldn't say he was the most affable chap.
He had that way about him.
Maybe it was my question. Who knows?
Well, you are quite belligerent.
I just asked, who are you wearing? Maybe following that defeat wasn't the question.
And another name you may find familiar, Avram Grant, who, of course, has had a number of coaching roles, including West Ham and Chelsea.
And looks a bit like a turtle.
Which one?
Donatello.
Okay. Current players of note include the Israeli internationals Ili Dassa, Sharan Yini and Ayel Galassa, and the former Athletic Bilbao fullback Enric Sabaret, he's on the books, and the impressive Serbian goalkeeper Predrag Rakovic.
He is good. A lot of people are speculating that he'll get a big move.
Good football manager signing.
Very good football manager.
Excellent
You can get him
signing.
for quite cheap as well.
And some past players, there are some I think you may well recognise. A former goalkeeper at one of your favoured clubs, Dudu Awate at Mallorca, remember him?
Yeah, absolutely. I met him in an airport.
Of course you have. The former Bolton and Chelsea defender Tal Ben Haim.
I met him at Bramall Lane, and a lovely moment where a Chinese fan came up to Ben Haim, didn't ask him anything, put his arm around him, and very close with a disposable camera, with the flash on, got a picture, and Haim was just dazed.
One of their best ever players, and Derby County fans might remember, Avi Nimni, who had a 4-game loan spell in I think under Jim Smith.
Avi Nimni?
Avi Nimni.
That sounds a bit like if you're describing someone who was quick and nimble. He's very Avi Nimby, that lad.
At 2 fine former Israeli internationals, Ayel Berkovic and Yussi Benayoun.
I can do an impression of Al Berkovic.
Please do. I mean, it doesn't work so great.
It's good though, isn't it?
In this format, but yeah, it's very good. And a couple of Brits as well. Robert Earnshaw had a 10-game spell, scored 2 goals.
The Welshman.
And I feel like this next player might have played for the Blades, but I'm not sure.
Nick Blackman.
Nick Blackman.
He did. Penalty master.
He played 31 games, and would you like to guess how many goals he scored in that time, bearing in mind he is a striker?
I would say 8.
He got 10.
Wow, that's good. Probably all of them penalties. He's currently playing for Sporting de Gijón in Spain, and at time of recording has just scored in the Copa del Rey against Valencia.
That is very thorough Nick Blackman research, considering you didn't know I was going to mention him.
I like to follow all ex-Blades, and I can tell you pretty much all of the former Sheffield United players that have played in Spain. But that might be for another podcast.
Yeah, maybe one you can do alone.
Robert Olathorn is just one I'll throw out there.
Defender?
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. I remember him well. That, Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Okay, we're going to go next to stats and stuff. One for you to think about, Adam. Only one team in the English or Scottish leagues does not contain any of the letters from the word football. Which one? You can think about that. I'll tell you after you've given me some stats and stuff.
That's a tricky one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Air. Oh, there's an A in it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really bad start.
2/3 of the letters were correct.
That's not air.
Cowden Beath. I haven't done the maths.
It's got a T in it.
But I feel like
it's
that's the one.
got a B in it. It's got loads. It's got an O in it.
I hadn't done the maths.
Okay, yeah.
I was just throwing it out there.
The game isn't just, say, Scottish football teams.
Can we play that?
Go on, what would be your first one?
Partick Thistle.
I thought for a moment you might actually say the answer.
I don't know what the answer is.
No, I know, but I thought if I just said it is a Scottish one, all right, I'll tell you that.
Okay. Stats and stuff. Do you know who scored the fastest...
Oh, that's a tricky one.
So I'll leave that with you. Do you know who scored the fastest ever recorded goal?
No, I don't.
It was scored by, and I think we need a pronunciation.
Oh, I knew it wasn't going to be easy. It wasn't going to be Robert Snodgrass.
Nawaf Al Abed.
I would have got that.
After 2 seconds of a Prince Faisal bin Fahid Cup match for Al Hilal against Al Shoala in 2009 in Saudi Arabia.
Doesn't it sound like a Game of Thrones command following a wedding? The groom saying, "Darling, now off a bed with you."
Yeah, okay, yeah. The Premier League has quite a large fan base around the globe. But in December 2018, a South Korean student by the name of Young Ming Ju travelled more than 5,000 miles to watch his adopted English side. That side being Accrington Stanley. He started following the club in October 2017 after reading a BBC article about them. He purchased a season ticket for the princely sum of £264,
Wow.
despite the fact he'd only be able to see a single league game. That game arrived. He came over. He watched Accrington against Peterborough United.
I know the score in that game.
What was the score?
They lost 4-0.
They lost 4-0.
I watched the football.
He had a nice day. He had a guided stadium tour. He had a drink in the club bar with the chairman. He met John Coleman, the manager, and Conor Ripley, the goalkeeper, and plenty of supporters. He was also intending, I don't know actually if he went, but he was also intending to watch their cup game.
Oh, he did?
Against Ipswich. Oh,
I know he did because he was on Football Focus.
Oh, was he?
Yes.
Oh, well, that was a much better story because Accrington were giant killers that day, beating Ipswich, I think, 1-0.
Yeah, it was.
In the FA Cup.
Billy Key.
He had the key to success.
You should be a headline writer.
I should.
I think you'd lose your job.
Neil Etheridge, Cardiff City goalkeeper.
From the Philippines.
Philippines international. Has saved 3 penalties this season from Callum Wilson, Kennedy, and James Maddison. Wilson, Kennedy, and Maddison were also the surnames of US presidents.
That's good.
That's a useful one.
I like that.
You can file that one away. Of active players in the world, do you know the top international goal scorer?
It might be that Japanese chap, Miura.
He is still active,
Yeah.
sort of.
51 years old.
He's just signed a contract
Yes.
with Yokohama FC, I think, in
Still
the
going.
Japanese second tier.
So I thought he might be just because he's played for so long.
He's not, but he wasn't this prolific.
All right.
It's an obvious answer.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. He has 85 international goals to his name. Third on the list, an Argentine chap, but you may have heard of by the name of Lionel Messi, with 65. Can you guess who falls in between them?
Can you give me the nation?
India.
No, I can't.
It's Sunil Chhetri. He scored 2 goals against Thailand at the Asian Games relatively recently, and he went up to 67 international goals in his career. He's had one spell in Europe in his career. He was on the books of Sporting Lisbon's B team. Didn't quite work out for him. And he had a go in the MLS as well with Sporting Kansas City.
Is he still playing?
He is still playing.
Do you think Phil Brown's his manager? Is that the club he's at? Do we know?
I don't know.
Get on the dance
I
floor.
have a feeling he plays in the other Indian league, not the Super League.
This is the best trip I've ever been on.
But you don't really care. You just wanted to get a Phil Brown reference in, didn't you?
This one's going out to Adam at the back of the dance floor. This is the best trip I've ever been on.
This is a reference I really never get.
Only one team in England or Scotland does not contain any of the letters from the word football. We're talking about a professional club here. Which one?
Do you know how to spell football?
The answer is...
Kilmarnock.
I'll give you a clue. I was born there.
I don't pay that much attention to you. St Johnstone.
Yeah, I was born in St Johnstone, which isn't a place.
Well, they're in Perth.
Yeah.
I was wondering you may have been born in Perth.
No, I wasn't. Very close, though.
Celtic.
It is... We've just got an L in it. It's...
You had to work that out.
Dundee.
Dundee.
Well done if you got that at home, at work, or in the car. Before we reveal our mysterious player of mystery, I do have, Adam, a new character to introduce to the podcast.
Does he have a song?
He doesn't have a song, you'll be pleased to know.
Does he have a van?
No, but he has a Von in his name.
Von?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, sexy fun boys. It's Rudy Von Tempelschlurpen. I have a quick story for you boys, Hal and Adam. It was when playing in Holland with the Ajax. I had just climbed out of the bedroom window of my good friend and teammate Rudy von Goldstinkle because he'd come home sooner than his wife had been expecting. I was running through the bushes in the back garden when I see an old friend limping leave on leopard's length. He was not a happy person, I tell you now. I hadn't seen him since he found me in the front seat of his wife's car. She was also in the same seat. I said, hey, my guy. I got him out of the vehicle because a tire was flat, so he had to change it while I, comforted his wife in the lay-by. I was sure the car's handbrake was on, but hey, my guy, I paid for the surgery, so, as they say in your country, Hal and Adam, the cat has got the pigeons now amongst it. I have to go now. I'm going on a, wild goose chase. If by goose you mean dissatisfied, promiscuous, legally wed housewives, then that's what I'm doing, and by doing, I mean sex with them.
Well, it sounds like he's an adulterer. A serial adulterer.
Yeah.
And also his accent was a bit wavery in the middle. I don't know what was happening there.
Players booed by their own fans. This is something that I threw out on social media, Adam.
The socials, as the kids say.
And a few people got back in touch with some thoughts on this, and it was quite interesting. Chris said our Grimsby relegation squad, the whole squad, got booed by their own fans in 2009-2010 season. Got booed most of the time that they were on the pitch. I can't bring myself to call them players. I put more effort into taking the bins out than they did playing football. I thought that was so strong. We had to start with that.
I have a Grimsby Town thing I want to tell you.
Oh, okay.
I was doing some shopping in my local supermarket and I saw the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in real life across the aisle.
Was she so beautiful that you couldn't even in your wildest dreams imagine you and her being together?
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be able to speak to her.
No, I'm like that.
I don't think they see me as a man.
No, I think I'm the same.
I feel like I wandered in something else.
This is a cry for help.
What was I talking about? Oh, yes,
Fish.
beautiful woman. She was wearing a Grimsby Town shirt. And this is in the home county, so it's a bit unusual to see a Grimsby Town shirt in the home county.
Well,
but
black and white stripes is slimming. Maybe she thought it would look good on her.
So if she took it off, she'd be like 25 stone.
I have no idea. I didn't see her. Was she a larger lady?
No.
I don't know what you like. Behic on Twitter, one of our Turkish listeners, who's been very supportive of this podcast,
We have Turkish listeners. That's
do.
exciting.
Yeah, well, they're Turkish. He said, Owen for Liverpool still gets booed in even charity games to this day. Why is Owen disliked by Liverpool fans, Adam?
Is it purely because he played for Man United?
I guess so.
That seems a bit
He
short-sighted.
didn't really play for Man
He
United.
did good things at Liverpool.
Yeah, not so much at Newcastle. He's still Newcastle's record signing.
He is, and isn't that a damning statistic?
Tim says Ashley Cole for England. I do remember him getting booed for his nation. Adam, not you, a different one, says Marlon King, when he signed for Sheffield United, didn't agree with the signing and he was booed against Crawley, a game he actually scored. It was the most low-key celebration for a goal I've ever seen. Can you think of any players that have been booed? Pierre Van Hooijdonk, I remember at Forest.
I can think of a national coach upon whose appointment the fans were very unhappy. We were talking about Maccabi Tel Aviv earlier. The national coach of Israel is, at times speaking, is Andreas Herzog, former Austrian international, played over 100 games for Austria, I think, famously scored a goal that denied Israel a place in, I don't remember what the tournament was, but it was a World Cup or European Championship playoff. And that was some decades ago and still fairly loathed across Israel. We mentioned Eyal Berkovic earlier.
Do you want to see my impression of Eyal?
No.
Okay.
And he was one who was incredibly vocal at the appointment, very unhappy, because, that kind of memory lasts a long time.
Yeah.
So Andreas having to work very hard to get the Israeli fan base on side.
Alex Nyarko for Everton, there's another one that I mentioned earlier. Al says Hossam Ghali when he threw his shirt at the Spurs bench. Tottenham fans didn't forgive that. And final one now, Matt says, he was also a Sheffield United fan. My dad used to think that Blades fans were booing Gus Uhlenbeck. I pointed out they were actually saying Goose. Oh, how we laughed.
At the World Cup in South Africa, the centre-back Matthew Booth playing for the hosts, there was a bit of confusion in the opening game with the commentary team who thought he was being booed, but the crowd were shouting, Booth!
Yeah, we did that in unison. I thought it sounded brilliant.
It was magnificent.
Back with our guest, Jon Tecwyn, a Leeds United fan. He gave us his favourite Leeds United 11. I'm sure there's plenty of Leeds fans that will want to dispute that. No Pierre Laurent, which has definitely shocked a number. I'm sure there's tremors through Ellen Road just as soon as that name was missed out. Honourable mentions.
What was that name?
Pierre Laurent. Do you remember him?
I don't think I do.
He's a Frenchman who played for Leeds during the same sort of era as Brian Deane and I think under George Graham. Am I right in some of this, John?
That's right. Derek Lilly as well.
Yeah. Derek Lilly. Super sub. Actually, John, didn't you want to correct us on our praise of Jacob Burns on a previous podcast?
Hang on. Our praise was your praise.
All right. I like to believe that we are a duo.
I think you called him a super sub, like some kind of Solskjaer type sub. But he was abysmal. Like he would be in every Leeds United fan's like all-time worst 11.
Wow, that bad. I just seem to remember him always being brought on by O'Leary. Whether he was a super sub or not, he was a sub, right?
He was a sub. Yeah.
Okay. Super sub just sounds so much better, you know.
Yeah. No, he only got involved when we were down to the bare bones of the squad, as David himself. Yeah.
Okay, John's got some questions for us, and John, if you'd like us to throw any back at you, we can think on the spot. You know, Sheffield United, West Ham questions, I'm sure.
Given that you guys had lots of dispute over who had the harder question, I'm going to give you guys the same questions. The answer to each of the three questions are numbers.
7.
So we're gonna have a best of 3. Whoever's closest on each takes the Leeds United title.
Well, I don't want to win now.
First question up. As you both know, Brian Clough lasted a mere 44 days as manager of Leeds back in the 70s. This was a record until recently broken during the Massimo Cellino watermelon ownership regime by Slovenian Darko Milanic back in 2014. The question to you, the number I'm looking for, is how many days did he last? And we'll go for Adam first on this one.
See, now how do I know my esteemed co-host is not going to just steal my answer after I say, I was going to say that. I think he lasted no more than 20 days.
So we're going 20?
20.
Hal?
I think is 21.
You suck.
Hal, you boxed him in there, and it's worked in your favour. It was 32 days, so 1-0 to Hal.
Nice.
There's a flaw in this system.
Well, I guess it'll be...
It's like The Price is Right.
It'll be me first next, won't it?
It will. Okay, so in December, Kemar Roof scored a penalty for Leeds versus QPR. In itself, perhaps not a remarkable thing, but how many games had passed since Leeds had last been awarded a penalty?
I'm guessing it was quite a long time by the suggestion of the question, so I'm going to say...
Might be a trick question.
No, I'm going to say 146 days.
Sorry, games, Hal. Not
Games?
days.
Oh, sorry.
Days? What's wrong with you?
Well, that would be Saturdays, I was thinking.
How many Saturdays?
I thought John had really gone to town on this.
104. That's years. That's like 3 years.
Yeah, I thought it's an incredible statistic. This is what we were going to find out.
Okay.
How many games? Fine.
How many games?
So Hal's go with 3 years.
I'll
That's
say
his answer.
15.
15. Okay.
16.
You boxed him in effectively. It's 59. It was a very long time.
That's like
Without
146 days.
We missed that one 59 games ago as well. But scored the one in December, of course. We're a good team now. Okay, so this is the deciding question. Given how you both played off against each other in those first two, I want you to write down your answers. I'm trusting you to do this properly, gents, for the title. The question is, how many times in their history have Leeds won the top flight English League title?
I have written down a number. Adam, you are welcome to look at my number.
I will have a look at your number.
I'm not going to change it now.
Oh.
Okay, can I see your number?
I feel like I may have undersold it somewhat.
What have you got? Oh, interesting. Okay, Adam, you have said...
3.
And I have said 9. This was a much better way of doing it.
Yeah, next time, yeah. Next time. One of you is spot on, and that person is Adam.
Oh, of course.
I had too much faith in the quality of Leeds United.
You don't know how much joy you're bringing me from the look on his face at the moment.
A stupid poxy
I
quiz,
am
anyway.
just elated
John, well done. Adam is officially, King of Leeds?
Yeah, what do I win?
King of Leeds.
Key to the
King of
city?
Leeds. Share the keys with Bielsa.
I'm going to say we're going to ask John one question each, Adam. We'll just
Yeah.
think off the top of our head. You can ask him a West Ham question. I'll ask him a Sheffield United question, okay? I would like you to tell me how many times Brian Deane signed for Sheffield United.
I'm going to go for 2.
You're saying 2. Adam, do you have any idea how many times former Leeds and West Ham striker Brian Deane signed for Sheffield United?
I'd be surprised if it was much more than 2. If it was 1, this wouldn't be a very interesting question. So I'm going to go with 3.
It is 3 in 1988, 1997 and 2005. Adam is now king at Blades. Adam, have you had time then to think of a question?
Well,
about
I had a
West
question in
Ham?
my head, but now I'm doubting I know the answer.
I can look it up for you.
Who replaced long-serving manager Harry Redknapp in the West Ham dugout?
I don't think it's a Leeds-related answer. I've got Glenn Roeder in my head.
Do you know that? No, that's what I had in my head as well. I wasn't
Okay.
confident, though. How is checking?
Yes, it is.
There we go. I
Glenn
really should have
Roeder
been more confident
in the
about
summer of 2001.
What a
following
time
the
to be alive.
Following the departure of Harry Redknapp. I don't think there's anyone listening to this that wasn't alive in 2001.
Glenn Roeder, who was of the firm conviction that Hayden Mullins was a better central midfielder than Javier Mascherano.
I think time has definitely proven that to be accurate.
Oh, absolutely.
Jon Tecwyn, you've been one of our best guests. Thank you very much for joining us on Just Not Cricket.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me, chaps.
The mysterious player of mystery.
Now, Adam, you really enjoy that, don't you, that piece of music?
That is my favourite part of the whole thing.
Can I thank Paul, one of our listeners in Shanghai, who says, the reason the end of the theme tune reminds Adam of a Bond film, is what you said
I said that. Yes,
in
it
the previous
does.
podcast, is because it's the same notes as the trumpet riff in the song Thunderball.
Ah, so it's jogging at the old memories.
Ah,
Okay, I like
It's all
that.
stored in your memory warehouse. Paul goes on to say, I also never get the mysterious player of mystery until I got Christian Vieri.
It's a great feeling, isn't it?
That's a wonderful feeling when I get them and you don't. And you also got the question about Christian Ziege, who played in all those derbies.
Or Michael Tarnat, as I pronounce his
That's
name.
how you say it. Mysterious player of mystery, the clubs, Chelsea, Blackburn, Chelsea again, Southampton, and then, for a bit of fun at the end in 2012, Wembley also played for England, and you think you know it.
I didn't realise he had 2 spells at Chelsea.
Yes, he did. I don't know how else to answer that.
Concise. All the information was there. Graham Lasso.
Graham the Socks from Jersey. Now, did you know that Lasso took an environmental studies degree at Kingston University before dropping out to concentrate on football?
Yes.
His interest in learning never left him, and as a player, he was often derided because he used to read The Guardian.
He read books as well, I hear.
He visited museums.
Oh,
He was known as the Professor.
what an animal.
Absolutely. In 2007, he was a finalist on the game show Vernon Kay's Game Show Marathon. And in 2009, he competed in Series 4 of the talent show Dancing on Ice. Now, how far he got?
5th.
First round, booted out.
Oh, Graham.
Graham Lasso, correct. Adam, that means the score is currently 7-10.
Or 10-7, if you like.
No, I want to be first. All right, that's it from us for Just Not Cricket. Thank you very much. Do check us out on Twitter at JNCPod. We're on SoundCloud under Just Not Cricket as well. And you can subscribe on iTunes and Podbean. We're also now on the YouTube.
God, are we?
Yeah.
They can't see us, can they?
No.
Oh, good.
It's a still image that doesn't move. And yet, for some reason, hundreds of people are still playing it on there.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Good, that, right?
Well, yeah, it's a bit intimidating.
No, don't be intimidated. How many? You're the exact opposite of me. You want as fewer people as possible to hear this, and I want everyone to hear it.
I don't want to hear anyone to hear it at all. I wanted it to be like a dark little secret.
You've got enough of them.
Not far off. And at the beach is where we may see you.
If I'm going to get these printed on a T-shirt, they need to be the same.
You're going to get these printed on a T-shirt.
Oh, it's been suggested.
Do
Yeah.
we need other catchphrases as well?
We've got catchphrases.
What else have we got? Exactly. And we will see you at the beach.